Get your ears wrapped around the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. All the scoop you need to know from college basketball to the NBA and even March Madness. News of your rising stars. Topics on and off the hardwood. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
Welcome to the GSMC Basketball Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, presented on the GSMC Podcast Network for all of your podcasts and needs. Happy Friday. It is Friday. We made it. I believe this might be the first Friday of January. So we did it, yo. We're here. We did it. Congratulations. I, for one, starting off my New Year's right, trying to get rid of the whole coffee, Red Bull thing. So this morning, I smacked a liter of water. So I feel pretty good about myself. I feel really liquefied and vibrant and all that. So, we'll see how that worked itself out. Don't really want to just poison myself with so many chemicals in the morning. I feel like I should be able to have enough natural energy by like Earth's water versus whatever they put in sugar-free energy drinks and caffeine-filled coffee. So there's that. I hope that all of your alleged New Year's resolutions are going well. If you already quit them, well, that's unfortunate. That's going to be something that you have to meet, look at yourself in the mirror and get that worked out. But I got this basketball stuff to make you feel a whole lot better about quitting your New Year's resolutions. What we got today is I'm going to review the Rockets without Harden, and the Rockets did a lot better than I think a lot of us were expecting to do without James Harden. We also have the Los Angeles Lakers they're on a skid. They're on a skid. They have lost 8 straight and 11 of their last 12 games. So it's looking kind of bad. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. I'm also telling you guys the top secret information about top secret information that somehow got leaked that everyone knows that is no longer top secret information. So I can't really go on a tangent about how it's secret. So I can't say you heard it here first. But if you are hearing it here first, that's fine. You heard it here first. Now what? Apparently the Spurs really, really wanted Kyrie Irving. Like they wanted him badly. And I just want to know how that was going to work out. Were they going to get rid of Patty Mills? Like what was the thing going to be? But I can only imagine like Kyrie and Kawhi. But I bet the Cavs were like, no, we want Kawhi. And he's like, no, that's the whole point of us getting Kyrie. We don't want him without, no, you got to give us Kawhi if you want Kyrie. No, that's silly. Well, whatever. Fine. Whatever. And I feel like that's what the Cavs GM was said. Like, fine, whatever, dude. And then just hung up on him. Like, I'm not going to, if I can't get Kawhi, then whatever. So I'll tell you guys about that a little bit later. Also, not a while ago, would this be 30 years ago? Yeah, exactly. 30 years ago today, January 5th, Hall of Famer Pistol Pete Maravich died at 40 during a pickup game. He apparently was one of the most outstanding ball handlers in NBA history. If you get a chance, check out a YouTube video. He was such an ill ball handler that, it's probably fitting that he played his last game like during a pickup game. Like this had happened on like a basketball court, like with a whole bunch of people around. There probably were a bunch of people, but this wasn't like a televised game. He wasn't working out. He wasn't in the grocery store buying potato chips. He was doing what he loved. So I'll talk about his stats and so on and give you a little bit of background about Pistol Pete Maravich a little bit later. But until then, on with the show. So last night, the Golden State Warriors matched up against the Houston Rockets, which I, for one, was thinking this would be a good test to basically see what the Rockets look like against the Warriors without Harden, to kind of gauge like if this like level of MVP Harden is going to have any type of effect on the Warriors. But At the same time, the Warriors didn't have Durant. So I was like, well, I guess fine. I mean, we could still see, right? We could still see what this is. I guess maybe they went to like a OKC reunion or something. Like they didn't want to. No, I'm kidding. They're both hurt. Harden is out for 2 weeks with like a slight like hamstring injury of some sort, and Kevin Durant has a smaller injury. He's out for a day with like a strain. So they both didn't play last night. The Warriors end up winning by what was a whole 11 points. Now, I for one thought I would still think that without Harden, and the Warriors having Durant, I would think that they would get ran, like completely just ran out of the building. But apparently, that's not the case. They did great. The Warriors were down 4 in like the first quarter, and then eventually they outscored the Rockets going forward to continue the game. Now, I had a great conversation with someone about the Rockets and their whole, what's the word? And their whole like mantra, not their mantra, the D'Antoni ball. We're just going to pull threes, not play any D. That's what we're going to do. I mean, they've been playing a little bit of defense, but the goal is to shoot threes. And, they went pretty bad last night. Eric Gordon had 30 points, and Gerald Green, the old school vet, the guy with super omega hops, he had 30 points. I'm going to get to him in a minute, though, because what ended up happening because of his game actually led to a great situation for him. Draymond Green had a triple-double last night, and he has the most triple-doubles in franchise history, like for the Warriors. He's got 21. And the thing is, he has like 17 points sometimes and like 10 points sometimes. He has like real life triple doubles. Like it's not like all the numbers barely reach 10. These aren't like 10 11s or like 10 10s. Some of these numbers are like above 15 more often than not. So I congratulate him on having that many triple doubles. Sometimes I honestly feel like a triple double can kind of be, don't fly off the handle now, but I'm just telling you guys something. A triple double can kind of be an overrated stat, because just depending on what's happening in the game, you may get a triple double. I think for your triple doubles to count, I feel like you have to have a lot of them, like a lot. Like it's kind of like if someone's shooting 3-pointers, and okay, it's kind of like this: if someone in the NBA has, I don't know, a 30-point game, like one time in the season, like, oh, he gets buckets. Like, no, he can get 30 like one time out of 82 games. But like, what's his average though? How often is he getting 30? If he's not getting 30 that often, he's not really getting buckets. I feel like triple doubles are more or less the same thing. Like a couple are okay. Like, I mean, if you have triple doubles, like, yeah, man, I got 5 triple doubles last season. Like, that's cool. But how many do you have like collectively? Because I believe that it shows us how much better you make people that are around you. So, and it also has a lot to do with who you're playing with, right? So like, Rondo holds the record. Actually, when I was looking at things to tell you guys, Rondo, like the day in NBA history tomorrow, Rondo had 25 assists against the Spurs, which is weird because he had 25 assists the other day against the Pelicans. He's an incredible like passer. He takes pride in making his teammates better. He said this, but he was getting triple doubles on the Celtics. Like he had like unlimited dimes. Then he had some buckets and had some rebounds. Now, when he went other places with other players, like on the Kings and the Bulls, the triple doubles weren't popping like that. So in history, I'm not sure how many he has, but in playoff history, he has the most, like under Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd has the most triple doubles, like period. So everywhere he goes, he's making people better and scoring like 10 to 15 points. So I just think the amount of them that you have definitely says something about your triple doubles. Because I'm not gonna say it's easy to get one, but like it seems like they happen pretty often. But I think you have to have like 10 as a qualifier. Oh, I get it. It's one of those things. If you've ever had a sales job, right? They'll say, all right, whoever sells the most iPhones, not iPhones anymore. This was several years ago when iPhones were like hard to sell, not when they could like force you guys to buy them for $1,000. So more than a few years ago. But like whoever sells the most iPhones gets this watch. It's like, wow, really? Yeah. But the qualifier is 10 watches. I mean, that qualifier is 10 iPhones. Why? Because that's the qualifier. But 10 is a lot. Yeah, you got to you got to sell 10 to qualify. Well, why not just say 11 or more? No, qualifier is 10. And then you could sell, then we measured after 10. So someone sells 9, you don't qualify. Someone sells 8, they don't qualify. Someone sells 15, someone sells 21. The guy that sells 21 won. But 10 qualifies you. Why? Because even though 10's a lot, it's not enough to be impressive. And I think that's how triple doubles work. If you don't have a lot of them, then I don't think that they're that impressive. So congratulations to Draymond Green for having the most triple doubles in franchise history with the Warriors. Also, during this game, we had a flash from Gerald Green. He's been in the league for a while. If you remember him, he has super hops. He's played for a bunch of different teams. He was on a 1 week contract with the Rockets. 1 week. Like they kind of just picked him up just to see what would happen. Like willy nilly. Like, hey man, do you want to play? We'd like to find out if you want to play because like we don't have James Harden and it seems like it'd be helpful if you were on our team. So do you want to run maybe? Like you got time? And he was like, yeah, I'll play. Like for sure. I'll play. I'll do it. And he went for 29 points last night. He hit 8 3-pointers. Gerald Green has been in the league since 2005. He was originally drafted by Boston. I'm going to tell you guys all the teams he's played for. He's played for Boston, Minnesota, Houston once in 2007, Dallas, Brooklyn, Indiana, Phoenix, Miami, back to Boston, and now he's playing for Houston. So, and he's played 5 games for Houston again because he was on like a 1 week contract. So, apparently this game like got him a deal and they signed him for the rest of the year. He's going to get the veterans minimum of $870,000. Like now, like, okay, check this out. And this is where like you being incredibly grateful is awesome, but then it's outstandingly difficult to be grateful and not kind of be like, okay, check this out. So Gerald Green was on a 1 week deal. So who knows what was going to happen, right? Like, I mean, if you're on a 1 week deal, it's kind of like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, do I live here? Will I get traded again? Well, do I got to move back to Boston? I'm in Texas now. Y'all going to send me to Utah? I have no idea what's going to happen in my life. And then he plays an amazing game, right? And they give him a contract. And it's like, yay, I get $872,000. Hooray. Great. This is awesome. Can't wait. So $870,000 in a year is a lot of money. It's a lot. Like, just based on the bank. I'm not going to say it's not a lot of money just because I'm like, I don't know what the nationwide income is. Can you look it up for me? Can you tell me what the nationwide average income is? Do you have time for that? Please? I would appreciate it. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you. Let me know. So, like, I don't know what the nationwide average income is. You got it? All right, cool. 2016, the nationwide like median household income was $59,000. Okay, so $870,000 is a lot. It's a lot of money. I'm just saying, if I'm getting $870,000 and I was like I didn't know where I was gonna be living at like next week, then I'm happy. But I feel like it takes a big man or just a grateful person to be like playing next to James Harden. Wait, first of all, playing next to CP3, who turned down $200 million from the Clippers, and then the guy you're replacing for like the time being, like James Harden, he makes $220 million, like $220 million. So, I mean, not annually. So that's kind of thrown off a little bit. Like I believe James Harden signed 4 years for $220 million. So we'll just break that down to what's that? What's 250? What's $220 million divided by 4? Is that $55 million? Yeah, so $55 million versus 872. I mean, I'm not ungrateful. I'm just saying it'd be cool if like I didn't have to pay for my steak when I went out with the team because I'm only here till June. So and that's if we make playoffs, which we will. I'm just saying, can y'all? This bill is kind of. Speaking of bills, I'm gonna put in a commercial. I'm gonna pay these bills, and then I'll be right back.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines. They got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast with your host, Ryan Holloway, presented on the GSMC Podcast Network to fulfill all of your podcasting needs. I was just telling you guys about Gerald Green playing for the Rockets because he recently just signed a contract with them to continue the year. And he was on a week contract. So we didn't really know what was going to happen with him after the week or whatever. But I just checked his last games, and here's what happened. His first game he had 0 points. His second game he had 18. His third game he had 10. His fourth game 27. Last game 29. I'm gonna read those numbers to you: 0, 18, 10, 27, 29. So I feel like after the 0, this is a metaphor for life. So if you're on a 1 week contract, you only got a couple games to prove yourself. I say you go 0 to 29 real quick. I feel like after that 0 point game, he was like, man, look, I'm not about to be just not playing for a basketball team. I'm a professional basketball player. This week thing isn't going to work. And then he got to shine. He hit 29 and he also hit 8 threes. So he said, quote, he doesn't know what happened. He just been working on shooting with this Rottweiler guarding him in his driveway. So, I mean, bless up to Joe Green. I'm just saying that amount of money, the 870 Ks compared to the 200 million, compared to James Harden's 200 M's as peers, I wondered how that dynamic is. I'm not really around anyone that makes that much more money than me. Well, you know what? Who knows? I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm around anybody that makes. I mean, maybe they do, but I wouldn't know because it's not all over the news. You know what I mean? So if my colleagues' bread was all over the radio all the time, then I'd be like, okay, well, I think I might feel away. So let me break this down. $200 million compared to $870,000. That's to get to $200 million from 872. It's 229 times. So 872 goes into 200 million 229 times. Now, I'm just saying, if Joe Green's been in the league since 2005, I would say he's a good basketball player. But James Harden must be incredible if that's how much money that man is worth. So I actually was thinking that the Rockets would do kind of bad without Harden. I thought, okay, against the Warriors, wow, they're going to get smashed. Even though the Warriors have Durant, even though Durant's on the bench or not on the bench or didn't play last night, I still thought they would get smashed. But apparently they did pretty well. And that's what Clay had. That's what Clay having 28. That's what Steph Curry having 30, and that's what Draymond Green put up a triple double. So I would say that by the time James Harden gets back, with Durant back, I'm gonna say that our Western Conference NBA Finals are gonna be some. They're gonna be some. And I feel like the Rockets owner has to be juiced because his whole plan as the whole plan for the Rockets staff, record label, and crew is to just build a team that can beat the Warriors. That's all they want. That's all he wants to do. Steph Curry mentioned it. They asked him how he felt about Daryl Morey crafting his team specifically to beat the Warriors. Steph Curry said, as much as he talks about it, yeah, it's hard not to. It's pretty clear. So everyone knows that this team is designed to beat the Warriors. And I mean, from what it looks like they're doing a pretty good job. I just don't know if you add James Harden's 30. Say you add James Harden's 30, and then you add Kevin Durant's 25 that night. they still lose. I mean, the points aren't that interchangeable, but you get my point though, right? So if we do add James Harden's 30, we say Gerald Green doesn't score 29 and Eric Gordon maybe doesn't score 30. But if we have Kevin Durant there, maybe Klay Thompson scores 4 less points, Steph Curry scores 4 less points, Draymond has 3 less assists, but they still win. It's going to be a great Western Conference final. Even though it's going to take a while to get there, of course, it will actually be the Western Conference Finals because these teams are ranked 1 and 2. So, I mean, just based on the standings and based on their stats from the way they've been playing throughout the season, they're kind of 1A and 1B. I mean, for the most part, the Warriors have 31 wins, the Rockets have 27. And we're going to say those are we'll say those 4 games are washed, because if you look at the standings, I want to say, I lied. I wasn't say they're significantly ahead of any other team, but the Spurs have 26 wins. So, I mean, we'll see. I would say the playoffs, I would say these Western playoffs are going to be something else. Just because we're going to have some different teams in there. We're going to have Minnesota. I believe, I still have hopes, not hopes. They're not really hopes, but I still have a belief that the Lakers are going to make the playoffs. I know this sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy, but, they fell that far. At one point they were in the bottom. It was like, they were like 9th seed, and they were like going back and forth between like 9th and 12th. And at one point they snuck into 8th, but somehow this like massive skid has, made them the worst team in the league. Well, not yet, but I'm going to get to that in a second. But I'm going to tell you guys about these playoffs. Who we're going to have, we're going to have the Pelicans as a new team. Well, they've been there before, but they got Boogie now. So we're going to have the Pelicans in there, and we're also going to have the Timberwolves, and OKC finally snuck back in, so it's going to be good to see them. So that's something I'm excited about. Definitely. 100%. Now, I will go ahead and skip shoot you guys some of this Laker drama. So yeah, at one point the Lakers were, I personally felt like they were playoff bound. Like, I thought they were going to make the playoffs. I'm going to say I was like kind of excited about it, just because I'm not a Laker fan, but I just feel like the NBA is like a little bit better when the Lakers are good. Why? Because there's Laker fans, and when Laker fans are like watching basketball, there's like more people watching basketball, so there's more people to talk about basketball. Does that make sense to you? That makes sense? Kind of like I was gonna mention Dallas, but no, because Dallas Cowboy fans will talk to you regardless. It doesn't matter what's happening. Like, the Dallas Cowboys could move to Oregon, and Dallas Cowboys fans will still just talk your ear off about anything related to Jason Garrett or Jerry Jones or Tony Romo or Troy Aikman for some reason. That's just what they do, and that's fine. That's fine. So I personally wanted the Lakers to be good. I had a wager with a friend that they would make the AFC, just because I feel like the NBA wouldn't let them be bad that long. In my mind, I feel like this is entertainment. All of it's entertainment, and all of it is for money, and all of it is for viewership, and we want to entertain the fans. So I just personally felt like the NBA would not let the Lakers be that bad, and I don't think they did, because they gave him B.I., Brandon Ingram. Yes, I'm calling him B.I. That's his name. That's his nickname. I need everyone to start calling him that, because it's clever, because it's not B.I.G., because he's not big, but he's B.I., and those are his initials. Get it? B.I. So they got B.I. In the draft. Then they got Lonzo in the draft, and they got Kuz. They didn't even mean for Kuzma to be incredible, but he's balling. And then somehow, some way, they stole Lopez, and like, they're supposed to be kind of good, but Magic Johnson took over. So the NBA's done I'm not gonna say like a collusion type of thing, but I feel like the NBA's done every single thing they possibly can to help them be good. What more do you want? Like, what more do you want? They somehow, some way, they got Jenny Buss to like basically like strong arm her brother like off of the team operations. Then we moved Magic Johnson in there, and we got Kobe retiring 2 numbers at once. Everything is going great, but somehow, some way, you're telling me that they're just still really bad. They played a game last night, and they kind of got slapped, and Kyle Kuzma said that he felt like they gave up. I'm sorry, they didn't play last night. My apologies. I'm sorry. They played Wednesday night against OKC. OKC is on a tear, by the way, in case you guys didn't know. They're in 5th place. I just told you that. I'm sorry. But they lost to OKC by a smooth 40 points. Not 40. I'm sorry. That's disrespectful. They lost by 37. Let me not be out here just telling you guys the wrong stats. It was not 40, it was 37. I will be respectful. So yeah, they basically got slapped. They got Terrence Ferguson off the bench for the OKC. He had 24. Everybody was just getting it. Like this was the night. This was also the night that well, not the night, but they're in LA. So LA fans are like cheering for Paul George and trying to be supportive and all this stuff or whatever, because like they want Paul George, especially during the time when this team is just looking terrible. And it's interesting because like I want to say that Paul George doesn't mean to say like wild things, but he doesn't mean to say wild things about teams he wants to stay on or wants to go to. But he basically said when asked if he would go to the Lakers, he was like, yeah, no, well, we have a good team. We have a good team here. So if I was to leave here, then that seemed like it'd be stupid on my part. And I'm like, you know what? You shouldn't have said that. Shouldn't have said that, because once they get that soundbite of you saying, I wouldn't leave here because that'd be silly. So they're going to run it and run it and run it all the time. And then suddenly you're a bad guy and you're a liar. He's kind of did the same thing when he was in Indiana. They're like, yeah, I like it here. And I like it here. And I guess I'm having a good time. Probably would like to retire here. Something along those lines. Then he left. They played the soundbite over and over again and called him a liar. So it's interesting how, like, as an athlete, you can't really say how you exactly feel at that time because they'll hold it against you, because apparently as humans, we're not allowed to change our mind, and the way that you say that you feel, you have to say that all the time. So hopefully the OKC thing works out for him so he can say, yeah, I feel like this is a good decision. Kind of like when Vince Young said dream team when he was playing for the Eagles and they destroyed him. So for Paul George to say, oh, it would be stupid of me to leave if we have a good thing here. So if they make it to the playoffs, which they will, they're in fourth, and they make it to like the second round, and he still leaves and goes to the Lakers. So they say, hey, Paul George, you're so stupid. Ha, ha, ha. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But you got to be careful what you say. Anyway, after Laker fans watching their team just get decimated, they're like cheering for Paul George. They want Paul George to come there badly because he's from there, which I think is weird, because like everybody that's from LA, it's like, oh, he wants to go home. He wants to go home. And I don't think that the fans don't want them there. Like, it's not like a hometown kid type of thing. Like, it's not a LeBron thing where it's like, we want you in Cleveland because we used to watch you play in Akron. It's not one of those things. It's a thing where our team is garbage and we need a really good player. And you may have lived in LA somewhere. So I feel like we're missing the whole go home part when it comes to like LA and some of these places. It's not, nobody's going home to LA. You guys want players that are good, which is fine. I'm not being a jerk about it. I'm just saying, let's not pretend that like you watched them play since 8th grade and you have their high school jersey on your wall. Like that's not what it is. Because you guys know who you have watched play since 8th grade, Lonzo Ball. He's from there. And not working out for you. All right. Well, we'll talk more about this Laker fiasco when I get back. I'm going to take a quick commercial break. And when I return, I will let you guys know why Kyle Kuzma is very, very upset with this squad. Be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast. with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, presented on the one and only GSMC Podcast Network for all of your podcasting needs. So I will continue telling you guys what I was saying about the Lakers. They are having a meltdown. It's a genuine, outstanding level of meltdown. And Kyle Kuzma has reached I'm going to say, at first I said he was upset, but after reading what he said, I'm going to say he's reached an outstanding level of disappointment. He's reached an outstanding level of disappointment. They played OKC on what looks like was Wednesday night, and they lost 133-96. And that was their 8th straight loss, and it's their 11th loss out of their last 12 games. So, and it dropped them just from outside the playoffs, which I thought they would at least make the playoffs. I thought maybe they would sneak in as like an 8th seed just for like California strength, because like as a Californian, we want all the teams to be in the playoffs. Just because we have 4 basketball teams, it seems like it makes sense. But at least, I mean, the Lakers would be cool. Just because when the Lakers are good, it seems like people are like happier and more people want to watch basketball, because the Laker fans are probably like the most fair weather you're going to find, where it's like, oh, you guys watching? No, I don't know what's happening. I'm not sure. Does Kobe still play? No, he's not. Kobe's not on the team anymore. Oh, okay. All right. Is Shaq still there? Nope. Shaq's not there, bro. He's not there. Oh, so is Ron Artest still kind of different? Ron Artest doesn't play for you guys. Oh, well, I don't even watch that stuff anymore. Apparently you don't. So I was trying to hope the Lakers would be good, so that Laker fans would be watching basketball. But they were good. But their whole decide to lose every game thing that happened just recently has like knocked them out of the playoff hunt, and they're actually the worst team in the league right now. Well, not the worst team in the league. The worst team in the league is Atlanta by one game. And so it's getting close, because I told you guys a few days ago, Atlanta was like, they're doing so badly, or like they're so, I don't know. You can kind of tell how bad things are based on like decisions in people's awareness. They were down by 3 points, and their point guard inbounded the ball, Dennis Schroeder, and there were 5 seconds left, and he just dribbles the ball all the way down the court for a layup, and they need 3 points, and he makes the layup at like the buzzer, and he beat the buzzer, and they still lost by 1. So I don't know if that's like not basketball IQ or like lack of game awareness, or my team is the worst in the league, it doesn't matter type of attitude. So I don't know if the Lakers can beat that. But if the Lakers become worse than the Hawks, who are purposely trying to lose games by accident, yes, I said purposely losing games by accident. I did that. I said that. And that's going to be a thing. If you don't like it, then I'm going to need you to sit on it for a while, because I have a feeling that you're going to like it a little bit later. So just enjoy it. Just think about it. Let it process. The Hawks are 10-27. The Lakers are 11-26. So you don't want to be the worst team in the league, though. You don't want to do that. But anyway, what ended up happening was let me just give you this tidbit. They're not tanking again. Like, they don't want to tank. This isn't like a tank situation, because their first round draft pick is going to go to the Sixers or the Celtics. So they don't want to tank. That's not something they want to. They actually want to have a pretty good pick, so that the pick they do give away won't like help another team get pretty good. But anyway, after the game, Kyle Kuzma said, "We gave up. You could see they got basket after basket. We had no resistance on them on the defensive end and offensive end. When things got tough, we try to do it individually. You can't do that in this league. I took a little lead, and we just want to be selfish on the floor. We don't compete on defense. They killed us. To lose by nearly 40, it's pretty embarrassing to be out there." So I have a feeling that like this, I'm not going to say this is passive aggressive. I'm just going to say this is probably the edited version of what he said like in the locker room, because I feel like he was living. Because the thing is this, Kyle Kuzma is the best player on the Lakers. In case you haven't been watching, I know like Alonzo Ball is like the hype, like that's the hype, and that's who you probably hear about if you're not watching a lot of ball. But Kyle Kuzma, he's the guy. So I feel like he's only gonna be able to handle so much Lonzo Ball hoopla while he's scoring 17.5 and averaging 6 rebounds a game. He's only going to be handled, and he's put up like 30-point games. He's had some really stellar games. He's only going to handle so much of that while they're losing games. Like, okay, I'm not going to say that I was the highest drafted player on this team, but I'm the one getting the buckets. So I feel like we need to reevaluate like our options, because he also said more. He said, that's not being a Laker. I've only been a Laker for a couple months, but that's not it. Our fans deserve better than that. And our organization deserves better than that. So, yeah, I feel like within this situation, I think that maybe the hopes got too high. Maybe the hopes got really, not maybe. The hopes and expectations got super high, incredibly high, just because they got Lonzo. They had BI last year, and it's like, oh, we might make the playoffs, which I thought they would too. But turns out they still play in the West, and if they play in the West, there's a possibility that they may not make the playoffs. It happens, and to lose 8 straight, it's ugly, but it's gonna happen though. It's just gonna like you're not gonna be able to draft. You're not gonna be able to draft like the second overall pick who isn't like a stellar college player and then just go ahead and make the playoffs. I guess it doesn't really work like that. I still hope they do, because I have high hopes for them. Like, kinda, So it's just one of those things where I guess they're going to have to wait it out. I don't really know how you wait out a losing streak. I feel like a team that plays you is going to eventually have a bad day. It's going to have to come from a team that has a bad day, because like the stretch they're on is, okay, I'm going to say, Every game is a loss, right? You won for one, whatever. A L is a L. A W is a W. They go in different columns. Okay? But this stretch for them has been kind of beastly. It's been a beastly stretch. I mean, like within this stretch, they've played the Warriors, the Rockets, the Timberwolves twice. And don't get this twisted. Don't get this twisted, because the Timberwolves are a good team. Like they're in 4th place right now. And they also played the Cavs, the Trailblazers, and the Thunder. So, I mean, like they haven't played a lot of teams. They haven't played a lot of teams that are under 500. So let's not. I don't really want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. That is such a terrible phrase. I take that back. Let's not. Can't say that. That'd be a curse word. I guess I'll say fly off the handle. We'll do that, I guess. Yeah, so we're not gonna be overly concerned about this, because they're playing great teams. That's just kind of the way it goes, and it's fine. I think their main concern is not really making the playoffs, but just not being so terrible that they end up having to get rid of. That they end up getting a high draft pick and then giving it to another one of the young and upcoming teams like the Celtics or the Sixers. Hope they get this thing worked out, and if they don't, then that's okay, because if the Lakers aren't fun to watch, then we can just go overseas and go watch Lonzo's brothers in Lithuania, because like that's a thing. You just go to Lithuania and watch them play over there. It's that simple. But really, that might be the case though, because the whole problem with this, I'm going to say like Laker diabolical plan to take over the world, is that if the players all feel like someone's coming in, then I mean, people get a little shook, So this isn't like the Sixers where Joel Embiid to say, hey, LeBron, you should come play here because it would be fun. He's completely kidding. I don't think Joel Embiid really wants LeBron to go there. I think Joel Embiid trusts the process. That's just like Philly, the whole Philly squad, trust the process. Their plan was going to draft a whole bunch of, lose every game, period. And draft good players and then go in a championship. Maybe they're 3, 4, or 5 years from there. The Lakers' plan was work the draft a little bit and then clear some salary space and then draft and then get anybody who's good. Anybody. We're going to get anybody who's good. Anyone who's outstanding. LeBron, got him. Will Carmelo be good by them? I don't know. Laker? Sure. Paul George? Sure. Can we get Shaq in his prime? Got it. Let's unretire Kobe's jersey. Got that too. Somebody find Allen Iverson and T-Mac. Fix their old injuries. They'll be fine. Got them. Somebody put Vince Carter in a time machine. We're bringing Porzingis too. Everyone that's possibly good. So with that, they've also been spending time basically like clearing cap space. So that's how you got rid of D'Angelo Russell, and that's how you got rid of Timothy Mozgov, and then you got Luol Deng, who's just chilling on the bench somewhere, and then Julius Randle is going to be a restricted free agent soon. They got to make a decision on him. Also, you got Jordan Clarkson, who's owned $37 million through 2020. So everyone knows that like they can get the trigger pulled at any time. Like it could be walking papers for anyone. So this isn't the squad that you're trying to grow with. Like, remember when we all got drafted at the same time and then 5 years ago we all grew, and I don't think that's that situation. It's not a Philly situation where, hey, we're all going to grow up together. Everything's going to be great. Yay. I don't think that's the thing. So I think while they're losing and they're taking all these L's, I think the core of the team is having a problem developing if no one really knows like what their future is. Like no one really knows what's going on or where they're going to be. So I'm not saying they should give up at all. Like that's not the thing at all. I just think it's probably difficult to like tell these kids, these guys, like, yo, this is what we're going to do. I need you guys to just like, we're going to do our best to like develop this team so in the future that we're really good. But I need you to know that a couple of you guys may not be here after the summer because we got to bring LeBron in. And then if we can't get LeBron, then we'll probably clear some of you guys out anyway. But, as of right now, though, while we're irrelevant in the Western Conference, then just, do your best. Do your best. You guys ready? All right, ready, break. I'm not sure if that works. That's not how it works. Especially, the thing is this, like, I'm not sure how you can like do this, we're going to get a free agent attractive thing if like you guys are terrible. Like, so players want to go play somewhere where like it's more big market and so on. And I get that part, but not if the place is terrible. Like LeBron wanted to go to Miami, but they were already like good. They were kind of good. Durant went to the Warriors. They were great. Chris Paul went to the Rockets. They were great. DeMarcus Cousins went to the Pelicans. They were a playoff team. But no one just is going to be like, I want to play in LA so bad. Yeah, and then go somewhere that's terrible. No. Nobody's going to do that. It's not going to happen. So somehow the Lakers as a staff, record label, and the crew have to find a way to convince these guys to play hard enough to advertise the team for players that want to come there and play hard enough while possibly being traded and walked out the back door. So, I mean, good luck with that. I feel like that's something that can be done. It's going to take a magician, but that's why your head of basketball operations is Magic. See what I did there? I'm going to pay a quick bill. When I get back, I'm going to tell you guys about this top secret information, that everyone knows about. Top secret that everyone knows about except for you if you haven't heard it. So you better wait. You better sit there and wait for it. I'll be right back.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts, past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, presented on the GSMC Podcast Network. I was telling you guys a little bit about how the Lakers are falling apart, and Paul George said, I was talking about how it's probably going to be difficult to like recruit like players there if the team is terrible, because good players want to go somewhere that's like nice and they want to win. Like they don't want to go somewhere that's terrible. I mean, look at LaMarcus Aldridge, right? Like he went and did an interview with the Lakers and was like, "Nah, I don't really want to play here. You guys are bad." So now he plays for the Spurs and they're in third place. So my thing was this, like I kind of felt like if the team's bad, like I don't really know how you would be like, yeah, I'd love to go play there because it's in LA, even though you guys are the worst team in the league. I don't really see why anyone would do that. But what I failed to mention to you is that Paul George did say the recruitment by the fans was awesome there. So I did mention they were cheering his name, but the recruitment was awesome, and that, I don't really think that's not a come home. That's not like a come home thing. Like if LeBron plays in Miami and he comes back to like play against the Cavs, it's not like, oh my God, I have your jersey on my wall. I watched you play since you were at Akron. Like I'm sorry, I watched you play when you lived in Akron, not at Akron. LeBron didn't go to college, but it's not like one of those things. So it's not like they're like, Paul George, oh my God, we grew up watching you. Like you're the hometown kid. I don't think it's that. They just want a team that's gonna win. When Russell Westbrook was asked about a pitch, I said, "Hey, Russell Westbrook, are you gonna pitch? Are you concerned about pitching Paul George in the offseason?" And Russell Westbrook said, "No, a sales pitch is gonna be when we win a championship. Beat that pitch." So, you know what? You can't knock Russell Westbrook, because I genuinely feel like he's the type of guy that it doesn't matter who's on his team. Well, we saw that last season, and I feel like I feel like if Russell Westbrook would have said to Durant, "Hey man, are you thinking about going to the Warriors? Because if you are, you should stay here because I think we're pretty good." I think Kevin Durant would have been like, "Okay," and then he would have stayed. But Russell Westbrook seems like the type of guy where it's like, "Yo man, hey, I could do this by myself. Are you gonna leave? All right, cool. Close the door on your way out." Like I don't. To anyone. Like, I don't think, and I feel like that attitude is probably like best to have as a competitor, because I genuinely believe what Westbrook just said. I've heard a lot of people say things like that, like, "Oh no, well, we're going to sell him with our success," or "Watch when he sees how good our franchise is," or "the end of this season to show him." No. But they just say that. First of all, I don't think OKC is going to win a championship this year. I don't believe that. No way. I don't. And if you feel differently, let me know. I'm sorry, I don't feel that way. But I genuinely believe that Westbrook believes that. Westbrook believes they're going to win a championship this year. I don't know if he believed it last year, just because he was just grinding out triple-doubles, triple-double after triple-double after triple-double. But I believe that he believes they're going to win a championship. And if they win a championship and Paul George still wants to go, Westbrook could just, so what? I don't care. Wait, he left? Oh, I didn't even know he left. I didn't know. I was busy getting 30. I didn't know he even left. Sorry. Usually when the number 13 leaves here, I don't usually notice. Sorry. He wouldn't even notice. And if they do go and they don't win a championship and he leaves, Westbrook's going to be like, "Oh, he left? Oh, all right. Well, whatever. What's next?" Done. Because he already signed the contract anyway. Westbrook signed a contract for $220 million. So he's fine. Like, I don't think he's concerned at all. And I was very I was impressed at an outstanding level when I read this quote, because I can see him saying, like, "Beat that pitch. That's the pitch. I'm not going to sell anything. I'm a basketball player. I'm here to play basketball, and I win championships, and we're going to win the championship, and he'll stay. And if we don't win a championship and he leaves, so what? Doesn't matter to me either way. I'm fine. I'm going to be okay." I respect it. Russell Westbrook. Keep doing what you do. I mean, I believe, like, even when they called him, I was like, hey, Westbrook, we got some great news. We're going to bring in Carmelo and Paul George. He was like, okay. They're like, are you excited? Or no, that's fine. Are they healthy? Or yeah. All right. Well, give them numbers. Let's run it. Roll the ball out. Just roll the ball out. That's how I feel like that's what I think Westbrook is about. I think Westbrook is wearing basketball shorts right now somewhere handling like real business. Like, I feel like he's like speaking to like one of his investors or like one of his brokers or just somebody on his staff, record label, or crew. And he's wearing basketball shorts with a blazer and like a strange looking hat that only looks cool on him. And hey, I respect it. Did you guys know that the Spurs were very interested in Kyrie Irving? Like, the quote says they were very, very interested. Like, they wanted him. And I want to know what they were going to give up for him. Like, I want to know who was on the hot seat, and if the Cavs wanted too much, or if the Spurs weren't willing to give enough. Because if you check the Spurs roster, they haven't had, like, I mean, from what I gather, just over my time of being around basketball, I haven't ever seen like a Spurs contract like in the news. And I feel like they do a good job keeping that under wraps. Now, I want to know if the Spurs were like, all right, listen, we'll give you like $6-7 and we'll give you Kyle Anderson. It's like, no, we have Kyrie Irving. And Spurs like, yeah, but he doesn't want to play there anymore. So that's what we'll do for you guys. We're going to give you guys Kyle Anderson and we'll give you a couple dollars. They're like, no, that's just disrespectful. Like, well, what do you guys want? And I think the Cavs kind of went too hard. That I feel like the Cavs were like, okay, well, how about this? We'll give you Kyrie Irving and maybe you guys give us Patty Mills and Paul Gasol. No, we're not doing that. That's silly. Well, no, but let's talk about it because like you guys don't really need Paul Gasol anyway. And it's like, nah, because Kyrie has that contract. We don't want. No, that's too much. Like, all right. And I feel like they went back and forth for a while. And they just couldn't come to an agreement. And they feel like this could have been worked out. But I think that Popovich was like, yo, my problem is like we have to get him. Then we have to find out whether or not he's going to fit. So we're kind of taking a risk because on my team, we need the ball moved all the time. We get Kyrie and I'm not 100% sure like how it's going to work out. So I feel like because the Spurs felt like they were taking a chance, they didn't want to give up too much. And because the Cavs knew the Spurs kind of had some pieces and some players from like the school of Popovich, I think the Cavs were asking for too much. So both teams probably missed out, but no, they didn't. I think they're fine. Like Isaiah Thomas is a good fit on the Cavs, and it's good that Kyrie Irving plays for the Celtics. Like I feel like that just makes sense. I don't know how he would have looked on the Spurs. I don't know. It's interesting to think about, but I don't know. Not sure. So this day, 30 years ago, Hall of Famer Pistol Pete Maravich died at the age of 40 after suffering a heart attack while playing a pickup game in California. He was playing a pickup game, doing what he loved to do, and he passed away. He is the all-time leading NCAA scorer with 3,600 points, averaging 44 buckets per game. In college, he averaged 44 buckets per game. So he was something else. If you ask a bunch of players, a bunch of people, like old school players, they say that he was one of the best ball handlers that you ever seen. In fact, old school Jason Williams said Pistol Pete was the illest. His number was retired by the Atlanta Hawks and the New Orleans Jazz. I'm sorry, New Orleans Pelicans, which used to be the Jazz, and the Boston Celtics. He was an All-Star 5 times. He was NBA scoring champion. He has 2 numbers retired. 3-time NCAA Division I scoring leader. Number 23 retired by LSU, and All-NBA first team twice. So all I want to say is, bless up to Pistol Pete. 44 buckets per game in college is ridiculous. I was under the impression, I thought that he was like a smaller guy, but turns out he was 6'5". I didn't know that. He was the first round pick, 3rd overall. And seems like he passed away too early. There one thing to be happy about is that it seems like he did pass doing what he loved to do, which was playing basketball. Apparently, he has YouTube videos because I'm not going to say there was YouTube back then, but there was obviously video back then. So if you guys get a chance, go ahead and hop on YouTube, type in Pistol Pete and check it out. His NBA stats, he averaged 24 buckets a game and 4 rebounds. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I buried the lead. This is the most important part. I'm sorry, guys. This is the most important part. When he was averaging 44 points per game, they didn't have a shot clock or a 3-point line. So, like, he had 44 points a game, and they could hold the ball as long as they wanted to, and there weren't 3-pointers. Do you know what that means? Like, so Like, do you understand what? So there weren't any ways to get 6 points for 2 shots. There was not a way to do that. There was no way to do that. Like, there wasn't a way to get 12 points for 4 shots. That wasn't a thing. So, and there wasn't a shot clock, because they could dribble the ball around as long as they wanted to, but he still found a way to put up 44 buckets. That's incredible. Anyway, check him out on YouTube, Pistol Pete Maravich. I wish you guys an amazing weekend. Thank you for joining me, Ryan Holloway, on the GSMC Basketball Podcast, presented on the GSMC Podcast Network. Live long, prosper, watch out for potholes.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.